Holy fucking shit, everybody. You may have heard it on mainstream media. Did I just sound like a hick there? Media? Oh gosh. Anyway, and if any of you pay attention to probably any major news, you'll probably realize that crazy shit went down at the end of the Coke Zero 400, which was delayed by rain. So it was like here in Missouri, 2 a.m. local time. I'm tired. I'm a bit tired. But, the car of Austin Dillon, once they crossed the start, about when they crossed the start-finish line, actually, the best way to describe it, or what the crap happened, was the car of Denny Hamlin. I'm doing NASCAR hand motions. I'm not showing the wreck because A, copyright infringement, and B, I'd rather not look at that wreck again anytime soon. But the 11 of Denny Hamlin and the 4 of Kevin Harvick are, you know, they're both racing for second place because nobody's going to pass Dale Earnhardt Jr. Because that's how that race went. But they're fighting, they collide. The 11 of Denny Hamlin comes down, slides a bit, comes up, hits the 3 of Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon's car catches so much air, it flies over 2 rows of cars because they were going 3 wide. He was near the double yellow, and he ends up, the bottom part of his car, the whole car, like there wasn't even any hit in the wall, hits the catch fence. Just slams and tears apart the effing catch fence. Like, and I didn't know, like, I'm seeing this wreck. I didn't see what happened to Austin Dillon. Like, I didn't even know that Austin Dillon was involved in this until I see. And then Austin Dillon immediately, there's no sliding off, like, hit, almost immediate drop. Like, almost no sliding. Like, there was almost no sliding. And then the 2 of Brad Keselowski, who has no control over his car at this point. Reiterating that because I saw a stupid-ass Twitter comment while this whole craziness was kind of getting sorted out and stuff. One person trying to blame Brad Keselowski, but the fact is, he had no damn control over his car, so shut your damn mouth. And then the 2 of Brad Keselowski, with no control over his car, hits the 3 of Austin Dillon, and that's what slides him over a bit. The first moment I see of what happens to Austin Dillon, because I didn't see Austin's Dillon's car go flying into the damn catch fence. The first thing I see of what happens to Austin Dillon is he's upside down, front and basically non-existent except for one wheel. His engine is 20 feet behind him, maybe 30 or 40, but it's still behind him on fire. And we see Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew, the guy who won's crew, because they were in the first pit box, as soon as they know that nothing's probably going to get them, they start running over to the 3 of Austin Dillon's car, and they check to see if he's okay. And at this point, almost everybody who was watching that race, panic was probably flooding them. Like, if you were like, yay, wreck, and not, holy effing shit, is he okay? First of all, stop watching NASCAR. Second of all, you're sick in the head. But, I'm pretty sure everybody was like, is Austin Dillon okay? And then they managed to help him get out of the car. He gets out of the car out of his own power. He's walking, you know, just kind of showing the fans that he's fine. Or as fine as he's going to be. He's probably really sore at this point. He's probably sore and stiff as hell because he did go for a ride. And, you know, it's transported in the medical care center. Debris did fly into the grandstands. Not a whole lot. I think they said only... When I looked on Twitter a little earlier, say about half an hour ago, I think they said 5 people were treated for injuries, but they were all minor injuries, but still some parts did go into the grandstands. So there's a lot of flashback stuff, like, and a lot of bad feelings go into my head once I see the 3 of Austin Dillon is upside down with basically no front end of his car. Like, I'm getting reminded of the Kyle Larson wreck back in 2013 for the then Nationwide, but now it's Xfinity Series. That was effing scary. At least in this point, the engine stayed on the track and didn't end up just over the other side of the catch fence. And more fans got injured in the Kyle Larson wreck because one of the tires also got into the stands. Like, something else I get reminded to, because what we saw was a black number 3 car. If any of you were fans enough, like, any of you are any halfway decent, even casual fans, you know of Dale Earnhardt, you know he had a black number 3, so probably some of you were getting Dale Earnhardt's, the wreck that killed Dale Earnhardt flashbacks. It wasn't quite at the same spot, because the wreck that killed Dale Earnhardt was right, like, I think it was coming into turn 4, and this one was right at about the start-finish line, but still, you probably got some flashbacks to that wreck, and you're like, not something you wanted to see. Like, I usually don't have these superstitious things, but NASCAR does run on some superstitions. But if that 3 of Austin Dillon's car keeps getting into wrecks at Daytona, I will be willing to definitely believe that that 3 car is cursed. Like the cursed spirit of Dale Earnhardt is inhabiting that 3 car. Like, and he's like, no, no, no. I'm pretty sure Dale Jr. and a lot of NASCAR fans won't believe it, but right now I'm still a little skeptical. And some people probably believe the spirit of Dale Earnhardt made sure Austin Dillon was okay, which, sure, fine. NASCAR runs on some superstitions anyway, because, you know, they run on the thing where a 50 is bad luck. So, I'm like, anyway, getting to the actual point, because I ranted about this wreck for about 8 minutes, but the afterwards of the wreck, there were definitely plenty of drivers, showing their displeasure because they don't like super speedways, which, understandable, it's nerve-wracking for everybody involved. Like, I follow Delana Harvick, and every time a super speedway comes up, she is on pins and needles. And she states that on Twitter. She does not like super speedways because of the wrecks. Because of all that happens. I mean, I don't know what people realize, but each driver does have, you know, family and friends and people, and fans, of course. I'm pretty sure even the bottom of the NASCAR totem pole, there are fans. I say that because my mom, while Kyle Petty was still racing, was a Kyle Petty fan. And then also became a Mark Martin fan. Anyway. Although Mark Martin wasn't bad. Anyway. So, there's a lot of risk. I mean, I like the plate racing just because they're all pretty close together. And I love the style of pack racing. But the thing is, there's been 2 extremely panic-inducing wrecks in the past 2.5 years. And I could say 2.5 because, you know, 6 months from February is August. But not sure of, I mean, we've got enough safety for the cars, because Austin Dillon's fine, we've got all this stuff, and NASCAR can still keep improving it, by the way. But what the Carl Edwards wreck in 09, the Kyle Larson wreck of 2013, and what happened earlier this morning proves that we need to find some way to make sure that debris stops getting into the stands. Those 3 wrecks, besides the fact that cars went completely airborne, but we fixed what the problem was with the Carl Edwards wreck because the cars at that point had a rear wing, and that's what caused them to go airborne. But the Kyle Larson, we're probably not going to fix the problem with what happened with the other 2, because we're going at NASCAR drivers are going at a peak a little over 200 miles per hour. And at those speeds, going the slightest bit wrong means a pocket of, like, anyway. I mean, we've got these roof flaps to try to prevent the car from going airborne, but any of you who have seen the angle of the wreck, it quickly picked up Austin Dillon's car, and he flew. Like, he literally, his car went flying. There was no rolling over anything. There was no, I hit something and I flung. No, that one nudge put Austin Dillon at just the wrong angle for air to have enough force to lift up a multiple-ton vehicle into the air, soaring 2 lanes of traffic, which means that's probably about, trying to think, because each car is probably, I'd say about 30 or 40 feet worth of cars, maybe actually 60. I want to say each car is probably about 15 to 20 feet wide. I could be wrong, and perspective is very weird, but I say, so he's and he's at the double yellow line. Like, that's the very inside of the track you can go. And he soars over that to the wall. Actually, he didn't even hit the wall. He hit the catch fence with about 5 to 10 feet, being 5 to 10 feet above the safer barrier wall. So, I mean, the catch fence did do its job, but the catch fence could still be better. Try to find a way to prevent parts from flying into the stands, from absolutely shredding the car. We could find some way to prevent that, but maybe the forces of the car on the impact, there was nothing but shredding was going to happen, shredding of the car. I don't know. I'm not a car person, I'm not a physicist, so what could be done is a little limited. But these cars, unless they find a good way to, besides the roof flaps, try to prevent these cars from going airborne with the speeds that these, I mean, yeah, you can slow them down a little bit more. You could slow them down a bit more. Like, you sped them up for one reason, but now we're showing that we probably should slow them back down. Because I think even if we slow them down by like 5 miles per hour, little less risk of cars going and soaring like Austin Dillon's car did. But then again, this is just going off NASCAR fan knowledge and what little understanding of physics I know, because this is all, you know, the physics, science, and all that. But there is some stuff that still can be done, and there's always, 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 always a need to improve the safety of NASCARs. It's impossible to make it 100% safe, but we need to at least keep evolving to try to minimize the risks. The risks to the drivers, the risks to the crew, the risks to the fans, there is to anybody involved in anybody who is at the track. Now, I'm pretty sure I did say some stuff about, you know, the safety of things, safer barriers. They did do that at Daytona. There is one more thing I do want to talk about. And Kyle Busch, you know, came back from, any of you who have been NASCAR fans, he did come back from his injury a little over a month ago. It was late May, it was the All-Star race, so it was about mid to late May. If I remember my dates right, it was late May. But, did come back, but he did also say this week that he wishes for the elimination of grass. And I see his point. Because the grass does nothing good besides looking pretty on the track. It makes the track look pretty. It has caused some of the rollovers of cars. It has also torn up a lot of front ends. Because the splitter, it even, you know, it touches the grass, it can so much to utterly destroy it upon just barely touching the grass. I mean, we've seen that time and time again. I mean, if you want to make the track look pretty, just paint the concrete. Just go paint the concrete. Because that grass is utterly useless. Grass is a useless thing. It does more harm than good. Also, I'm pretty sure that Sonoma doesn't have any grass. Like, it's all dirt. It's all dirt and stuff. But anyway, this has been it's been a long time since I've had a face cam, but this one, it was a very interesting face cam to do. By the way, I also found my old webcam, so clarity's a little better. But see you next time, everybody.